Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we're in the world of Sequoia, which is the world that came with the Growing Together expansion pack, and we are on the Celebration Center lock. I believe it's called that. I don't know. It's where the rec center is in Sequoia. It's kind of it's kind of central to the right of the world, and it is on a waterfront, I believe. And that's the side that faces this lot. And what I wanted to do here was build kind of like I guess you could say it's a fitness center, but it's also a wellness center as well. So I've called it the Sequoia Health Center, and that's just because it's got basically a lot of like gym recreational areas. It also has a massive yoga section, and upstairs it has a lot of spa-like facilities. So it's got a spa, a sauna, It's got like a sauna, it's got massage beds. It's got like a lot of it's wellness, and there's also a really large kitchen, and I've included a lot of like the blenders and appliances, and it looks almost like a definitely almost like a cafeteria kind of thing. And I guess the inspiration of this build was to obviously utilize a lot of the Adventure Awaits expansion pack. So you would have seen a couple of weeks ago we did a children's camp and we did the swimming, like the water park. This is a very much my take on the Thrive and Revive getaway, which obviously has the diving and it has the fitness aspects that came with Adventure Awaits. This has all of that plus the yoga and a lot of the stuff that came with Spa Day, kind of all married together. And I also have an upstairs area that is kind of for teens as well, and that has got a cheerleading mat in there. So it's kind of definitely an area that is got space for families and whatnot. It doesn't have a whole lot for children. I mean, kids can do yoga and whatnot, and obviously there's a giant pool in the back for swimming and diving and whatnot. But in terms of, I guess it is a little bit more on the adult side. Okay, so a couple of things that I wanted to do. A, I wanted this to be more of a modern build. B, I knew I wanted to use this lot here in Sequoia. So this is a 64 by 64 lot, which is quite massive. But I've said before previously, when I'm doing these kind of custom venues or I guess business type lots, you know, I tend to need I think it's like a 50 by 40 or a 64 by 64, just because I need the space. So the building itself, like in order to do these things, you need a lot of space. So even though if this was a house, the spacing would be completely off, but as a community lot, it works. And it works well. And one of the things that I've done here to kind of really utilize the space is the spacing. So we've obviously got the main structure. I then have fenced off not the backyard, but the external part of the property is. And then I'm also going to be putting in some more decorative stuff to the facade. So I put in a fountain, which is like a custom made fountain. And then I put in like a faux parking lot, and that helps utilize the space and make it look like that it's cohesive and that you don't have too much negative spacing, because I feel like with a big lot that can sometimes happen. The original lot being the rec center that was on this particular lot does have a lot of negative space, but the way that I think it was Little Simsy who did it, she's done it really well, because she's kind of mapped out areas where she's got the playground and she's got trees, and she's made like little custom built-in planter areas for like fenced in areas, and it looks really lovely, and she's used up the space very well. So I wanted to kind of have that vibe where this definitely feel like it was using up as much as a lot as it needed to. At this point, that's the process I'm going through. So I use a lot of terrain paint, because it would have been very expensive if I'd have used tiling or pathing throughout the whole of the exterior. So I used terrain paint. This is one of the newer terrain paints that we've gotten, I think in like a base game update a couple of months ago. And at this point, I've done the custom fountain, and I've just laid out where the tarmac is to where the, it's not tarmac, I guess it's the road tile for where the car park will go. And I'm just extending that pathing to the back of the property where you've got the large pool. So the large pool is the central part of the backyard. And then we also have this area here which is closest to the fenced off area to where the car park is. That's like a kind of a sitting al fresco type area. There's also a coffee stand that we put in there. So that's kind of like a place for like patrons to sit and eat and whatnot. I don't know if I can't remember if I put in a barbecue or anything. So this is definitely just kind of like they would purchase from that coffee stand and they would potentially, eat and drink from there. Like there wouldn't be any other forms of food. But there is obviously a giant kitchen in this lot. So they can make meals and whatnot in the kitchen and, whatnot. So this is, I believe, a fence from, I think it's Get Famous, and it's wonderful for this specific purpose, which is like line marking. It's not a thick fence and it just looks really authentic. So I was just able to just kind of draw something in, and just a very basic looking kind of car park. I just put in some nice detailing. These are the little things that like they take time, but they really make the community lot feel like a community lot and not a house, because that is like the biggest challenge for me, is because I'm so used to building houses, so that when I build a community lot, sometimes they just still look like a house. And I really am trying to make it be, more like a community lot when it is supposed to be that way. For landscaping, I kept it very simple. Lots of greenery. Used a lot of the landscaping that is found throughout of the world, and then just also like base game as well. Just because Sequoia is very similar to Willow Creek, so a lot of the assets that are found in that world also are quite similar to what's found in Sequoia. So I've used that. I've made like these little garden areas, and I think with more of a modern build, less is more. So keeping everything just plain trees and shrubs and greenery and not a lot of flowers, I think really works for this build. So these windows that face those palms, that is where the yoga section is, the yoga studio, I should say. And I just really like the idea of having these big palms outside of the view. It just gives it a very tranquil look. I like that. So when I have added some flowers, they're just basics. So these beautiful little shrubs with the white flowers work really well. I've used them in a couple of areas in the exterior of the property. So also featured in this back area, you've obviously got your pool, which has your diving boards. I think I might add in a slide as well. This is the high diving board, of course. And as you saw, we have a playground. So we have a kids area. So I guess you do have things for all kind of age groups in this particular lot. We do have a barbecue. So there is a barbecue, and this is all that little seating area. I do change, and I think I'm doing it now. I add in the coffee kiosk. This came from Businesses and Hobbies. It's a great little addition because it's a way that you can, and it made sense like for there to be kind of like a cafe vibe here. And I think if I was having this be a small business, that would be great as well. And I think that is something that I have aimed to do with a lot of the custom venues that I've made, is that I've also made them be so that if you did want them to just be a business, you could run them like a business as well. So if you did have Businesses and Hobbies and you had Adventure Awaits, you could choose kind of how you want to do it. But yeah, anyway, this build along with the other custom venues that I've done, so the water park and the kids camp, they are available on the Sims 4 gallery. My gallery ID is Antoinette44. It is in the description below if needed. So yeah, if you want to jump on there, download and just kind of have a look at what I've done and use it in your own save files, that would be amazing. I love to hear your feedback on whether or not you actually play with the builds that you watch the speed builds for. Yeah. All right, so we are more or less inside and we are now starting the decorating portion of this speed build. I did start with kind of the entryway and just putting some basic furnishings, a sign and whatnot. And now we are in the yoga studio. Now, I technically should have put a divider between the two areas because technically you could run 2 full classes in that space, but I think it works for The Sims. I think in real life, obviously that would be 2 separate studios, but I only had access from those sliding doors, so it kind of was just a long space. Okay, so you walk in and you have this room which is behind where we're decorating now. That is a bathroom. So you have a bathroom and I believe you have 2 on the downstairs and I think you have 2 upstairs. So there's a total of like 4 bathrooms. From memory, I think the upstairs, 1 is toilets and 1 is showers. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see when we get up there. But this is definitely just toilet stalls. And then I think there are some bathrooms in the other, through the hallway. So through the hallway, we have in this part here. So that's another bathroom there. That's the second bathroom. And I believe it has some showers in there. And through those sliding doors, you will have the spin class studio. So that utilizes all of those exercise bikes that we got in Adventure Awaits. And then that large room that's adjacent to where we are decorating now, this hallway, that is the kitchen area. It's a huge kitchen area, massive kitchen, massive island, and it's got lots of like little seating. And yeah, so that's basically the floor plan for the downstairs. We are now upstairs. I do fit in a sauna and then a bathroom that separates the sauna and where the massage room and tables are. We have this small tiny room that has meditation stuff. I guess you could run a meditation class in there. And then the opposite end of the upstairs, you have the kind of that recreational space where the cheerleading mat is and other stuff. And you have a 4th bathroom and the big main gym. So the big main gym has everything, your treadmills, weights, everything. That's completely different to this room that we're decorating here, which is a spin classroom. This just has the spin bikes in it. It has nothing else. So no other kind of fitness equipment. I loved all the little posters and wall decals that came as part of Adventure Awaits, but also the ones from Business and Hobbies and I think High School Years came really handy when decorating kind of like a gym space. There has been a couple of packs that we've gotten where fitness is kind of a focus, so I'm able to utilize that. Yes, okay. So the showers are in this bathroom, but the toilets are in the other bathroom. So the downstairs, they are separated. I did put the showers closest to the spin bikes because I guess the Sims would, obviously their hygiene goes down and then they can utilize the showers. I think in yoga you do get sweaty as well. The Sims get sweaty, but so I probably should have more showers than I do on this particular lot, but it's okay. See, the thing is with the Sims, I believe, and I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty confident that it only really spawns a total of like 15 to 20 Sims at a time. So you could do this big massive build, but it's not going to be like, cluttered with Sims. So I think the amount of amenities works, but I don't know. I've not actually play tested this build, which, normally I would, but I didn't play test this one. Anyway, we are moving into the kitchen space, this kind of, I don't know, mess hall area. Huge kitchen. We've got, as I said, big island bench. We've got multiple blenders. We're using the new kettle. That was part of an bonus content if you received the pack, if you know, got the pack early. And yeah, just, I really love these counters actually. So these are just the base game counters, but it's in a newer swatch that kind of looks like it's more of, I know it's not concrete, but it looks like a stone or a concrete texture. It's really lovely and I've been loving it quite a lot. All right, these tables are from Dine Out. I've never used these before, and I actually really thought they worked well in this space because this overall building did have more of a modern vibe, and I thought these tables definitely looked a little bit more modern and sophisticated. So I've paired it with the chairs from City Living, which are just sleek, black, and simplistic, and they pair well with the other kind of black accents that are throughout the space. All right, these little candles were so sweet. These came from Businesses and Hobbies, and I've paired it with the tiny little flowers that I think came from Lovestruck. These are amazing. They're a perfect size for like a small like breakfast type table. And I think Dine Out also has a tiny flower that's really that's really useful in those types of spaces as well. All right, I have used the tiling from Businesses and Hobbies, and I've paired it with the tiling from the bathrooms, which is the sleek bathroom kit, and Spa Day is for the flooring. I used a ton of Spa Day because of how all the modern assets that come in Spa Day, they paired really well with kind of the vibe I was going for, and like it fit the wellness type element that I was aiming for. But not only that, it also had like really cool decals and stuff, and it just all fit. This is the massage table space, and I thought that that was really realistic because I've been in gyms before in real life where they've had like a massage therapist or a physio like as part of the gym. So I know it's not a physio, but like to have like a place where you can get a sports massage, like it makes sense. So I really like that. With the hallways, they were quite spacious. And this is what I mean by if this was a house, it would be way too, the scaling would be way too off because there's so much large hallways. But I've utilized them well with using lockers and these chairs from Seasons. I really like the popper color. They pair really nicely. So I've used the same, I think I use the same lounges upstairs as I do downstairs in that kind of open foyer entryway because it was just way too spacious. All right, so we are now moving into the main gym area. So this is just the area that has all your standard gym equipment that you would find in the game, plus the free weights. So the free weights was a new activity that comes with Adventure Awaits along with the spin bikes. And I wanted them to have their own kind of area. And I felt it made more sense to be in the gym area. We do also put another weights rack in the area that has the recreational area that has the cheerleading mat. And then I just kept it very simple. I didn't want to clutter it too much because I wanted it to be functional. And that was my main focus, is because this is going on the gallery and, you know, I may use it in my actual gameplay. I wanted there to be enough space for your Sims to do everything they needed to do. These decals, I actually think come from Growing Together, and they were amazing. So I think they were designed originally for the rec center because, you know, in the fitness type realm. So I've combined those with a lot of the portraits that we got in Adventure Awaits with kind of all that fitness stuff. And yeah, I really love how that space turned out. And I'm just going around with some lighting, and I do change the wallpaper. So the white, I wanted something that was minimal, but the white just seemed a little off. So in the end, I went with kind of like a cream off-white color, and I just think it lifts the space so much more. And I'm so happy I made this decision to change the wallpaper. All right, final touches on the build. We are just finalizing the outside. My terrain paint did disappear. That's why it looks a bit funny. I still experience that glitch from time to time. All right, we are live in game and we are going through the tour. So this is the front of the build and I'm just showing off essentially the front area. I have put the clock in, sign in business tables just in case you wanted to make this a small business. They are at the front. I am just adding in the chairs, lounges in a different swatch, but I just felt there was too much negative space. So I thought that this was a good way to just fill that space. The other idea I had was a big kind of round table. That would have also been a good way to use the space. And I've just put like a drinks tray item on that space. All right, so you head down the hall, you have your bathroom, which has your toilet stalls, sorry, through to the yoga room. You could technically run 2 classes in there. And then heading down through some sliding doors, you have the spin classroom and the showers. So as I said, showers are here, toilets are over there. Really nice in there. And then further down the hall, you have a large kitchen space. I love this space. It's got so much in it. And I included a microwave because that might be an easier way to make meals. And then you head upstairs and you have your sauna. You have a shower and a toilet. And then you have a massage room, your meditation space. And then you head down to the main part of the upstairs where you have the big gym, the main gym kind of area. You have showers and toilets in a large upstairs bathroom. I'm just going to change this all to red because I feel like it fits the color theme better. And finally, that kind of recreational space that has a lot of the teen type activities in. This is just kind of like, I don't know, like a hall type space. All right, and then you head outside and you have a large pool, which has a diving board. You have that cafe type section. So you've got the coffee kiosk and you've got a barbecue. You've got the children's playground area and it wraps around. You have your faux car park and just some very simple landscaping, that fountain. And that is the build today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's build. Thank you so much for joining me today and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.